don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
Being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn and everyone, telling me they love me. And
In a shocking revelation, Usher has finally admitted and provided proof of the disturbing actions that took place during his time with P. Diddy. Actions that also affected young Justin Bieber. Usher, who was just a teenager when he was mentored by the music mogul, has long kept quiet about the darker aspects of his experiences in the industry. However, in recent interviews and statements, Usher has opened up about the manipulative and harmful environment he was exposed to under Diddy's influence. These revelations have sparked a wave of concern regarding the exploitation of young artists, particularly as Usher now reflects on the emotional and physical toll it took on him. With Justin Bieber also caught in Diddy's orbit, these shocking admissions shed light on the grim reality behind the glitz and glam of the music business. Usher's early journey into the spotlight. Usher Raymond IV, often referred to simply as Usher, has experienced a storied and tumultuous journey within the music industry. His rise to fame in the 1990s was nothing short of meteoric. By the time he was just 14 years old, Usher was already on the fast track to superstardom, with the young artist showing immense promise in both his vocal abilities and performance prowess. It was this burgeoning talent that caught the attention of L.A. Reid, the head of Layface Records, a label that had already nurtured the careers of artists like TLC, Toni Braxton, and Outkast. Layface saw in Usher not just a pop sensation, but a potential R&B legend. Reid, recognizing the need for fresh creative influences to hone Usher's artistry, made the bold decision to send the young star to New York City, a move that would mark a defining chapter in Usher's career. This decision wasn't made lightly. Usher was still a teenager, a boy in many ways, navigating the complexities of fame and growing up under the intense scrutiny of the public eye. Yet, Reid believed that to truly refine Usher's sound, he needed exposure to the raw energy and grit of New York's music scene, where the pulse of hip-hop and R&B intermingled. In New York, Usher would come under the tutelage of one of the most controversial figures in hip-hop, Sean P. Diddy Combs, often referred to simply as Diddy or Puffy. At the time, Diddy was known as the wildest party figure in hip-hop, a mogul who had transformed his label, Bad Boy Records, into a global powerhouse. He was a man who exuded success, luxury, and excess, a stark contrast to the more polished, traditional R&B stylings that Usher had been raised on. It was this very dichotomy that L.A. Reid thought would help mold Usher into the multifaceted artist he was destined to become. P. Diddy's influence on Usher's early career. Usher's time in New York would prove to be a pivotal moment in his development, but it wasn't without its challenges. The 14-year-old, now living under the roof of one of the most influential and controversial figures in hip-hop, was exposed to a world that many young artists would never see. Diddy's home, often described as a center for non-stop parties, was filled with high-profile guests, celebrities, models, artists, and executives from every corner of the entertainment industry. The sounds of hip-hop legends like Notorious B.I.G., Lil' Kim, and Faith Evans reverberated through the halls, creating an atmosphere that was intoxicating, seductive, and overwhelming. Usher, fresh off a flight from his home in Atlanta, was thrust into this whirlwind, a kid trying to find his footing in a world of excess and hedonism. The experience, though exhilarating, was also deeply disorienting. Usher himself has spoken about the time he spent in Diddy's flavor camp with mixed emotions. In interviews, he's mentioned witnessing curious things, but often stopped short of elaborating, perhaps sensing the potential repercussions of fully opening up about his experiences. The term curious is, of course, a euphemism that leaves much to the imagination for a 14-year-old boy living with one of the most famous and reckless figures in the entertainment world. The exposure to adult behaviors and party culture would undoubtedly have been overwhelming. Despite the excesses, the chaotic nature of Diddy's camp, and the questionable behaviors that surrounded him, Usher's artistry began to take shape. Diddy, ever the visionary, began to introduce Usher to the more edgy elements of music, blending the smooth melodic tones of R&B with the hard-hitting, rebellious spirit of hip-hop. This fusion would later become a hallmark of Usher's style, as evidenced in albums like Confessions and 8701, which merged sensual R&B ballads with street-smart hip-hop beats. Usher's growth, the high price of fame. While Usher's sound evolved under Diddy's tutelage, the cost of his immersion in this world would be significant. Over time, Usher's connection to the darker side of the music industry, its power struggles, hidden dangers, and unspoken codes, would become more apparent. The most notorious of these came in the form of allegations that Usher had been subjected to mistreatment during his time with Diddy's crew. There are rumors, ones that have been whispered in the industry for years, that Usher faced physical harm while under Diddy's mentorship, a period during which he was reportedly sent to the hospital after a violent altercation with those surrounding Diddy. These claims, though largely unsubstantiated, point to a disturbing picture of an industry willing to exploit young, talented artists for the sake of its own gain. The idea that a 14-year-old boy could be so deeply impacted, both emotionally and physically, by his immersion in such an environment speaks volumes about the predatory nature of the entertainment business at the time. Though Usher himself has never publicly confirmed these darker aspects of his life, it's clear that the experiences he had during this period left lasting scars. The Diddy-Usher relationship. A complex dynamic. Usher's relationship with Diddy was complicated, to say the least. Diddy, the man who helped shape Usher's sound, also became a figure who stood as a symbol of the dangers of fame. Usher, over the years, would reflect on his time with Diddy, acknowledging that while Diddy's influence helped him refine his craft, it also exposed him to a world of chaos that many young artists could never fully escape. In later years, Usher would distance himself from the more tumultuous elements of the music business, seeking out mentors who would offer guidance without the burden of excess. But the connection between the two wasn't just one of business or artistry, it was personal too. Usher and Diddy, despite their differences and the tumult of their time together, forged a bond that would outlast their professional relationship. They became, in many ways, a part of each other's history, a bond that would continue to be referenced in interviews, documentaries, and articles, even as the years went on. The Bieber connection, a new generation of mentorship. In the years following his departure from Diddy's shadow, Usher would find himself